to maintain silence. Guests are arriving. Maintain silence.
I request everyone to stay silent. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, respected leaders from industry and government, esteemed faculty, innovators, and future entrepreneurs. It is my absolute privilege to welcome you all to this prestigious gathering under the banner of TEJAS, celebrating the Global Innovation Day. TEJAS 2026 Project Expo is a third edition flagship innovation showcase of Anurag University. It started in 2024. TEJAS represents the spirit of creativity, research excellence, and technological advancement, bringing together groundbreaking student projects that address real-world challenges across diverse sectors. It stands as a testament to our commitment to nurturing innovation, fostering entrepreneurship, and engineering for the next generation of changemakers. Today's panel discussion addresses a subject that is not just relevant, but transformational. Moving innovation from campus settings to scalable startups, engineering the next generation of entrepreneurs. In today's rapidly evolving ecosystem, innovation cannot remain confined within laboratories, classrooms, or project exhibitions. The real challenge and opportunity lies in translating ideas into impact. This conversation is about creating pathways from ideation to incubation, from prototype to product, from learning to leadership. And we are privileged to have with us visionaries who are shaping that very ecosystem. A meaningful conversation needs thoughtful direction. And to guide this powerful discussion, it is my pleasure to invite our esteemed moderator, Mr. Anurag Palla sir, Associate Vice President of Strategy, Trustee, Anurag University, to take charge of the session. Thank you, sir. It is now my honor to introduce our distinguished panelists. We are delighted to welcome Mr. Veera Chappigaru, Head of Human Resources, Talent Acquisition, Statutory and Regulatory Compliance at Foxconn Interconnect Technology Limited, Asia. Thank you, sir. Next, we are also privileged to have Mr. Pranay Nallagaru, Head, Government Innovation and Partnerships, Telangana Innovation Cell, IT and ITNC, Government of Telangana. Thank you, sir. We are also honored to welcome Mr. Abhinav Gupta Garu, Product and Strategy Leader at Broadridge, Hyderabad, Telangana. Thank you, sir. We also have Dr. Rajendra Prasad, sir, AI expert in innovation evangelist, investor, US. Thank you, sir. Over to Anurag, sir.
You didn't invite one more. Good afternoon, everyone. I would ask for your excuse if you are comfortable with me standing here and moderating it, and also our fellow panelists. Two people on this panel are injured, yet we are here. One is Pranay, and another one is myself. But it shows our commitment to make sure that you have a wonderful experience today. I understand entrepreneurship, panel discussions, guest lectures, the tips on how to become very successful is all the rage nowadays. It's all that you can see on your reels, on your shorts, on your YouTube, everywhere, on any self-help books that you see, any of the books that you find in your railway stations, airports, anything. So we will keep today's panel discussion very relevant to TEJAS, not on the broad aspect of entrepreneurship, but very extremely relevant to TEJAS Project Expo innovations in controlled setup, and how do we scale those innovations in controlled environment to the world outside. Because the world outside is VUCA, right? And what works here might not work out there. So what is the differences? What are the things that we need to keep in mind? How do we go from building a project to building a company? those are the aspects of on which that we are going to discuss. And I hope all of my panelists will forgive me if I can just stand and moderate the panel. Again, thank you so much, sir. Each one of you have taken time off your busy schedules to come here to be part of our panel discussion, to make sure that your excellent experience in varied fields over the past 6 decades put together will help students on their path forward. Okay, sir, we'll start off with Mr. Abhinav. I think every single person has already had a small bio about each of the panelists' background. So we'll keep most of the questions, discussions regarding your background, which is relevant to Expo. Sir, many students here have a working prototypes, but no real customers yet. So from your experience, what is that one non-negotiable validation that they need to get before they start thinking about anything further in terms of company, in terms of scaling it up, anything? So what is that one single validation?
One single validation from the product point of view, or in general as a business owner, future business owner?
As a future business owner or a product point?
Got it. I think let me take the analogy from yesterday's cricket match, right? How many of you saw? Super, nice. And our captain was Surya. But who performed well? Correct. But why is he not captain? Because what Anurag was like suggesting, that one key skill he doesn't have, that is people management. Yet, once we understand, right? See, innovation is like you playing in nets, right? You doing beautiful shots, nice simulated environments for you. But when you get into the real world, you have to be captain, speak with people continuously, press conferences, team management, everything comes into picture. So once you get that nicely, right, the business will scale accordingly. You know how to network, whom to go in, how to raise investor money. Everything is part of people management. So from my point of view, right, it's people management. And all innovation studios I built in, that was the key ingredient for my success.
Yeah, but what are the metrics that students needs to keep in mind if they're on the right path of people management, learning the skills of people management? What are the metrics that they need to be watchful for their own benefit, or like?
No, it's again 80-20 rule. Of all the people they meet, if 20% of the people are helping them in one way or the other, they're influencing the product to get better, or they're getting business from it, or investment raised, even the 20% conversion rate is there, then they're doing it right. So that's the metric I go with. And rest other metrics, business metrics, continue to be the same.
Again, thank you so much, sir. Sir, my next question is to Mr. Veera, sir. Sir, what is one, from a large global organization point of view, what differentiates between student innovator and ready to be entrepreneur?
I think one word is risk.
Okay.
And know the risk, be committed. Like there's a passion and the risk. There is a difference. There's a difference between doer and dream, right? Most of the startups are considered to be dreamers because I hear a quote: "Ideas are diamond." You may have a lot of idea, but you need to have a right connect. What are you trying to provide a solution, and how committed are you to take the risks and fail again and again, but yet you are standing there. That will be my short answer.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pranav, you've spent most of your time working with students, grassroots innovators, from the government's point of view. So from a policy point of view, from the government point of view, what kind of student innovations are most likely to receive support? It might be grants, it might be angel investment, or it might be actual VC or PE funding. What, from the idea stage concepts to prototypes, which stage, what kind of products or what kind of student innovations are most viable for money from the government or from anyone?
Thank you so much for having me here. Great audience, and first time I'm to witness the university also. So thanks a lot. So to answer your question very specifically, uh, the most easiest and the extreme amount of confidence that anybody out will have on the students is the fact that a basic knowledge on what you're studying, right? I mean, which is something that nobody else in the outside would have it. So in fact, a lot of grants that we have dispersed, in fact, I mean, Shanta, you were there also, is that at least 60% of the student startups, and when I meant these are startups, they are registered and they are at a market ready level. They haven't entered the market, but their product got validated. And the sector that we saw, most of them who were able to get grants is edutech startups. So for example, there is a student who was not able to understand data structure and analysis in a classroom setting, but was finding it very, very difficult to learn it. And a similar problem would occur for many other students. So that person has put up, a startup that has got a model that creates a pattern in 2 hours where you have preconceived questions where you come, you attempt them, you learn, and you actually get a certification, and you're understood about the entire DSI in a gaming model. So most of the innovations or solutions that are easier to make, at least to the last stage, from students will be edutech, only because that is their ultimate awareness that they have throughout. That is something that students can create on. So if you create anything on what you study, you create anything on what, for a student ecosystem, that startups are likely to have chances to get to the last stage of grants. That is for sure. That is something that we witnessed it. And the second most important thing is in terms of community management, community creation and network. There's a lot more startups that are coming today in terms of bringing together a community and nurturing them through different courses, different incentives. So this is something that students understand better. The reason only why I'm telling this and why we've seen is only because probably students have seen it. They've seen it and they know what is the biggest issue. So that is something that I'd like to probably highlight on last.
Sir, my last question, sir, to you. From your experience being an academic, being here in India as a Kanpur IIT graduate, being in US, studying there, working there in academia also, what are the key differences between Indian student startup founders and United States student startup founders? Like, what are the good things about the ecosystem there? What is it that a university like ourselves can look forward to, making sure that it can maybe up its game and have a very equal platform for all the students, whether they are in India or United States, wherever they are?
Thank you. I'll take an example to answer this question. Way back in 80s, Sun Microsystems, which was producing desktops, donated lots of machines to universities. They gave, every university you go, people were using Sun Microsystems Unix, right? So all the students got trained on those machines. And Unix, different vendors have been marketing different Unix systems. And all these students, and Sun Microsystems did it very well. Both the machine as well as the operating system is a standard Unix, but customized for the markets. And all the students got trained there. And when they go to the industry, if they go to Sun Microsystems, they know the hardware, they know the software because they have been using those machines. So they felt very comfortable. If they went to some other university, or another company to work, right? When they recommend software or hardware and Sun Microsystems is in the list, they're very likely to pick if the requirements match, of course, right? And that means actually Sun Microsystems, I'm giving this only as an example. There has been a lot of interaction between the universities and industry from 60s onwards in US, very deep interaction. And some of the core technologies have been developed partly in the university, partly in the industry, with a lot of collaboration from the beginning. And that has enormous impact on the way things developed, on the way they have been brought to market. Because the research itself was grounded in both academic research depth as well as the industry application viability, right? And so for today's environment, right, universities, Anurag University has been trying to interact with the industry and do lots of things very similar to that. But as students and as startups, potential startups, or you go to industry and work there, one thing we all need to understand is what works for the industry. Once you go out into the market of any type, seeking a job or wanting to do a startup, lots of questions will be asked on what you're trying to do. You take an idea, you build a prototype, you showcase, right? And all the industries, actually the way they developed is, something has been implemented, it has been working, then people find some limits on what is available at that time. It means we want to go to the next phase, but there are limitations in the kind of technology we're using. So what is the next? So research goes ahead of the applications, right? Research has already been done. If you do these things, then you can go to the next phase. Industry picks it up. And then that's how the technology moves forward. Industry benefits from the research that was done, and industries picking that and further progressing. And this means that when you have an idea, when you have a startup, you have to ask the question, has it already been done? Right? Not in your university, not in other universities, not in only Andhra, Telangana, or India. Generally question, these days, you folks are very lucky. You can go to the computer and just ask a question, you get tons of information. Very almost accurate information. But at least they give you enough pointers to further find out. If your idea has already been done by somebody, right, then you don't have to be discouraged. You have to figure out, study from what they have done and try to improve your product. And so one has to be prepared for the kind of questions that you will face when you go out in the market. And to your question directly, I think over the many decades in US, this has been grounded into the education system as well as the industry adoption of the university research. Mm-hmm. And I have been observing what is happening in India in computer technology, that's the area, and in that also deep tech, AI, that kind of stuff. And it has been improving, but I don't know enough of all the activities that are going on, but there I think a lot of improvement is needed. The participation between the university and the industry, and the students' involvement with the industry while they're studying, all those things.
Wonderful, sir.
That will help the students in the longer run.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So we'll just go, we'll jump to the next set of questions from you, sir. Sir, now everywhere that we see the entire, it doesn't matter if they are in mechanical, electrical, or which, every single company has that AI inbuilt into their offerings, whether it's a service company or a product company, it doesn't matter. So keeping that in mind, what is, for the students to understand, what is the key difference between an AI demo and versus an AI investable startup? Because everything, like every single business model that we see is being overwritten with something in AI in that. So how would the students understand what is an AI demo and what is an AI investable startup? To you, sir. Yes, sir. We'll start with you.
Sure. And this has to actually, this is a follow-up on, you have an AI demo. More and more,
sorry to actually to interrupt. The context being, out of 100 projects that we showcased, 26 are from AI and AI/data science. So most of them, about 25% of them would want to take it forward. But what's the key difference between it just being a AI demo versus an AI investable startup?
yeah. So you have a project, you use AI, and you have a demo. And AI is one area where things are moving very fast. So fast that, previously you can automate customer service, first line customer service, and afterwards chatbots, right? Now, no code. You don't have to develop any code. You give some instructions, you get the code. Some startups have been there without using AI. They were trying to, that is a good idea, so they were trying to build no code system that will take your instructions and build code for you, right? Now AI is doing it very easily. And if you do all these things, if you use AI, you have to keep up with what AI can do. And AI can do without, see the AI, because it's growing, it's moving very fast. From the time you start using AI, from the time you go to the market, go to somebody's help to get either funding or to sell your product, AI may have moved. So you have to find what is called differentiation between what AI platforms can do in general and what you are trying to do with your AI. Are you using the latest AI platform, or are you using traditional ML? That means you are building a data mining model, you're training your data set, and then you're applying it for a particular cause and collecting the data in order to do further analysis, right? And one area that is actually lots of people started applying is previously what it used to be called digital transformation, right? It's now called AI-driven transformation. Which part of a particular solution that already exists you can transform into at least partly AI-based. And but if you start with a brand new application that is being built using AI from the start, and like this, other people can also do. So you will have the competition, you have to analyze the competition. And so you have a way to go to find a differentiation for your AI startup among what is available, as well as what you will do if the AI models move, AI platforms become better. And somebody was mentioning this also a common sense. Don't try to build your own AI platform unless you have a lot of muscle. Because you can't beat these AI platforms that are moving very fast, and so focus on applications. And so to your question, it is, it requires quite a lot of analysis of existing AI platforms, as well as where your idea, number one, and your prototype or the demo fits. And the closer that is to the trend, the way AI platforms are moving, the easier will it be to adapt as you go.
Thank you, sir. Pranav, so how can student innovators align themselves with government problem statements or government policy statements early on in their journey? Because not from students picking out the problem statements to build their companies, most of them are centered around corporate problem statements. Can you give us a little more perspective as you work a lot more? Is it because of the money that's easily available? Is it because of the funding? Or is it because lack of awareness? I would love to understand your perspective on how the students can get much better, align themselves much better with government problem statements.
Yeah, I think one of the things.
Also, I think for both all of our audiences, please define what government problem statements and corporate problem statements are for anyone who doesn't understand what it is.
Sure. Yeah. First and foremost, to be very honest, it is the lack of access to the information as to what exactly government is doing and what are the problems they're facing, right? That's because there are two ways. One, everything that you see in your own locality or in your own village is a problem that everybody can see. But if it is not getting solved, or if it is somebody is finding it difficult to solve that problem, then you need to step back and realize that there is a systemic problem, or there is a problem within the governance. For some reason, because the departments or the governments are not able to understand or interpret, or not able to solve it because of maybe there's an intervention of technology, there's an intervention of many other innovations. So two is, you can choose a problem that is there in your locality and you can call it as a problem statement. But when you mean government problem statements, the difficulties or challenges that departments are facing to deliver their programs or schemes in the most efficient manner. And that is where that is where information is also very less available for people or for the students to understand. And you'll have to deep dive a lot. And this happens only when one is to make yourself completely self-aware of everything that the government is doing towards building communities or delivering things, right? As simple as you take a Swachh Bharat or you take a local schemes and all. Try and understand what is the entire delivery mechanism of that scheme or whatever they're doing, right? And then you'll understand, you'll probably come across things that, this looks very tedious. 100 people are doing, 100 papers are moving one after the other. Why can't we, immediate thought that you would get is, why can't we have a dashboard that is accessible to everybody, where everybody is able to see things and things are easier, right? This happens only when you involve yourself in how government is delivering the things. And that is when it'll happen. And how does that happen is, one, a lot more of sensitization for yourself by reading more policies, by reading more of schemes and departmental initiatives. That will help you to understand the problems that they're facing also. And that's the easiest way to make yourself aware of. Second most important thing that will also collaborate with the first point that you made is, unlike, at least what happens in the government is, most important part is that a lot of innovators, when they come and say that, they've built a solution, right? Technology or non-technology, anything. People have a, habit of saying that I'm here and my solution is solving agriculture, or my solution is solving healthcare. See, agriculture, healthcare, industry, all of these are sectors. They are not problems, right? So you cannot technically solve a sector, but there are many challenges that are happening, right? For as simple as you telling that I'm solving agriculture, than telling that I want to less the physical burden that a woman faces when she has to sow the seeds, right? Is a very, very specific challenge. And this is where government is facing so much, because they're seeing the reduction in the number of women farmers because of physical, mental pressures and many things. So one, you need to be extremely specific about the challenge that you want to address that will eventually solve the sector. And two is to make yourself self-aware of all the delivery mechanisms or all the programs that the government is doing, and they're available out there on the public platform. And the first step to do that is to be very honest, understand the delivery of what government is trying to do. And that's the best way to know how and where you can come into the picture to solve something. Yeah, that would be my answer.
Wonderful, thank you. Veera sir, I have two questions for you. One, from the earlier question, when you said risk is the main differentiator between student innovator and an early stage or like ready to be entrepreneur, could you elaborate on that? Because as students, their risk is very less. They have nothing to lose. And once they get out of into the world, even then they have very little to lose until they age 30 maybe. Once they have, they have to have real responsibilities according to the society. So elaborate a little more on that. And second, sir, from Raj sir's perspective on how industry and academia needs to work hand in hand. As being part of a large corporation like Foxconn for very long, what do you see, or how do you see industry and academia coming together who have two different objectives and rarely work together despite all the pressures that are put to work together? What are the chances that, what are the easy low hanging fruits that industry and academia can really come together to help student innovators?
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. I think, after the lunch discussion will be taxing on you. One round of applause for you, all of you having an idea. Give a round of applause for you. Bigger, louder, right? Just, I'm trying to wake up. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So, risk. Risk comes out of, I use your same word when you are introducing is VUCA. How many of you know VUCA? Can you raise your hands? All right. Volatile. Okay. Uncertain. Ambiguous. Right. Complex. These are the things. There's something else called Bani. Brittle. Okay. Anxious. Non-linear. Incomprehensible. Okay. What it says is VUCA you've been hearing for last 15 years, right? Now Bani had come, there'll be something else coming in. So we carry lot of things on our head, in terms of hesitation. First thing as a student, what you would have is a hesitation. Okay, do I do this something? Will somebody appreciate? Do I get my career out of it? These are all risk for them because their grade percentage is all one of the barriers that they carry with. So they have to cross this barrier first. One thing is you cross the barrier. Second is use common sense university. I would always mention that. So your sense and common sense are going to be the assets of yours. Without these, nothing can work out, however you have an idea. Now coming to how industry looks at what students, when they come out, how can they go both together? Very simple. There is a war of talent. There is a dearth of talent. That is, there is less talent available and there are many jobs. Vice versa is also true. Companies want talent, people want jobs. These don't get together. The disconnect between this is very, very simple. Is your ability to differentiate from this whole competitive world and be clear in your thoughts. Company expects you to be on board once you come to the job from day one. You are connected with your subject and what you are delivering. So these are two things. One is risk. Okay, ever changing environment. By the time you think your idea is coming to table, you are already moving out of the time. There's something else is coming across. Earlier it was something else. Today it is AI. Now we have not still realized about augmented reality. That's going to be the next phase with augmented. Now how many of you, so I heard 70% of them are AI based projects, right?
25%.
25%, okay. 25% of AI based, by the time you catch up with something else, it is already changed. How many of you heard about dark factories? Dark factories, how many of you heard? Can you raise your hands? So that means the manufacturing or even IT, you switch off the lights, you just configure, you move out of the factory or infrastructure, rest all is done by it. So be aligned, what is happening, be self-aware, what is happening in the industry in your own subject. First thing. Keep out your hesitation, very distance far away. And make yourself competent in the subject what you are in. Industry expects this and be connected. So this is all what I would mention. I don't know if I have missed something. You can.
No, thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Abhinav sir, what are the most common mistakes student founders or student innovators do, which do not end them becoming or running a sustainable startup?
Got it. Top of my mind are two important things. One, they not speaking with customer from the day zero. That's the biggest mistake they do. If they start speaking with the customer, they'll get feedback. They'll exactly know what they're building, for whom they're building, will they pay or not. If they don't want to pay, why are you building it? Correct? So speaking with customer is a non-negotiable aspect from day zero to perpetuity. You should constantly speak with customer. And automations for customer feedback, everything is there, but that's important. So this one. Point number two is understanding the real value of what you're trying to create. Like you asked, sir, the question about AI, right? How it is indistinguishable, what is investable startup. So one more point of view is exactly this. What does AI do? AI actually does very simple thing. It reduces the cost of prediction. That's it. So if we go to if we create a product which has an AI element, it is reducing the cost of prediction in one way or the other is what we need to see. Example like Industrial Revolution 1.0, it reduced the cost of labor. 2.0 is cost of production. And third is cost of compute got reduced. Now it is cost of prediction. So if you want to predict what is the next decision, will it rain or not, will the share go up or not, everything is prediction. And AI is reducing the cost. If your startup can create that value to an end user, that means maybe reduction of cost or increasing their revenue, right? If you understand this business model, what your product wants to give to the market, then you are game. So these are two important things you need to take care.
Okay, wonderful. So we'll have one more specific question for each of you, and then we can, I have a generic question, but which I want each of your perspective on it.
Okay.
If you're walking around Tejas today, what are those signals that you look in Project Expos on? Okay, this will be a investable or scalable project. This can move beyond Project Expos and go into the real world. What are those signals that you look for?
Yeah.
In first time student innovator that you speak to, what are those?
I see three things when I'm going to a very project and see that. One, how niche is it? When I say niche, do they have a particular customer in their mind or not? Like Pranay was saying, agri sector is a broad one, right? But is there a particular farmer who is in this particular arid zone, who is cultivating this? If they were able to define the customer better, then it is good. So that is one. And second is how they are using technology, or like I told you in my previous answer, are they reducing it for cosmetic purposes, or is it embedded into the systems to bring in efficiency? So that is second. Third is what kind of a grit or passion they have while doing it, right? Some people I've seen that they made it, but they themselves are not passionate about. But some people are extra passionate. So that is a defining factor. These three things are definitely important when you're evaluating a particular project.
Wonderful. Sir, Raj sir. Sir, this is a question for not only for students, but also for me. As an educator, as someone working in a university, what are those skills or demos that we all need to focus on? What are skills, mindsets, mind maps that we need to focus on in this AI heavy age? Because I constantly keep hearing professors getting asked by students like, how is this relevant? This is something that an AI can do. So if I ask them to code, and you're talking about no code services, what use will them slaving away hundreds of hours on coding? So what are those skills that are needed in the university, in a school of technology, needs to focus on? What are the skills that students needs to focus on? And what are the mindsets that we all need to be okay with going forward?
Very good question. See, as students, you have to go through the coding. You have to learn the different languages. And you have to enjoy what coding is. It's very, very important. Way back few decades ago, we used to program in what is called assembly language, right? And a few years later, students who come to college, they don't know what assembly language is. They don't want to program in assembly language. But we used to learn the machine through programming. Assembly language teaches us everything about the machine that we are programming for, right? And then we say, you program in a high-level language to simplify your job. You may not actually program in assembly language for a career, except where it's absolutely needed in those days, because high-level languages were not efficient enough, right? In the same manner, I'm giving only that as a parallel, not asking all of you to program in assembly language. So if you do not learn programming, and if you start learning the areas at your level, I mean at the university level, directly using AI and tell yourself, no, I don't have to learn any coding, right? It won't be good. We never know, even today, I should not say even today because the AI is moving so fast, I'm saying even today. Because over the last 3 years, things have developed enormously. People say surveys show real industry applications, only up to about 30% of the projects can be done using AI, even where AI can be used a lot. Other 70%, you have to go the hard way that you are used to. And we never know what happens, maybe government constraints, or maybe certain things you can do better than AI does. And so your ability to take a step back and question some of the things AI is producing and do in a different way may be necessary. So AI is always, a few years ago, I think 2 years ago, one company in Hyderabad, which has been developing something and they're doing very well, they're making a lot of money too, they wanted to get into AI. So as they're approaching different people, one of the questions that came to me, they asked me, they explained the whole product to me, and they said, which parts can we done using AI? And then I said, look at low-hanging fruits. Among the things that you have, a whole thing that you're doing, find out which parts can be easily done with AI, you benefit from them, and the other parts you do later, but it's a hard work. You know, we used to do re-engineer of the software. Software is already available, but new technology comes, we used to spend a lot of time re-engineering the same software. Benefit of that is software is already there. So that is the template for you. That is the specification for you, right? The new product, re-engineered product should work exactly like that, first to start with, but done better, right? In the same manner, if you are doing re-engineering of the existing software to find parts of that to be done using AI, make sure you understand the product thoroughly and take pieces of that and using AI. And when you go out into the market, if you learn how to do those kind of things, when somebody questions you, where do you want to use AI and why? Then you will be able to answer in a better way. And otherwise, the relevance of your work in the context of AI, you have to carefully analyze and establish for yourself to face various questions. That's what I would like to say.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Veera sir, again, two-part question, sorry. One, how can corporates like Foxconn and universities like Anurag University collaborate to create something like internship to startup kind of pathways or any other co-innovation startups, co-innovation pathways, are there any ways that two different entities can come forward to make it easier for the students?
I think it's a very good question at the juncture where the lot of activities happening in either fields, industry, whether you take services or manufacturing or any other industry. Companies would always want look at very quick results. One is profitability, productivity. These are going to be two key things always in their forefront. Any collaboration that need to be meaningful need to have well articulated outcomes. You would have seen in the past and also current, there are a lot of MOUs that we exchange and that get shelved. Either the company loses interest or the college loses the interest. In order to make this successful, today the TEJAS 26 is a very, very great platform, let me tell you. I would ask, there are a bunch of people here, there are a bunch of people outside here. Earlier all of them were outside. Today they have got a platform who are in this forum, right? Now, if college is further able to, especially when it comes to Anurag, you are getting industrialists together, investors together, a platform to showcase their, talent, collaboration, and you are also saying failure is okay, because if I ask one question in this room that how many of you how many of you have ideas, everybody will raise hands, right? But how many of you have reached that mature level where you understand market and all that? Probably the answer will be 95% of them fizzle off, right? So what it means for a company to have a workable apprenticeship or internship is you would have demonstrated your skills in your academics first. Practical demonstrated skills. If you're talking about a particular chip or IoT in your electronics, or you're talking about a code, you're talking about some subject, be clear about it. That is the differentiator, because there are a lot of people who are waiting for these opportunities. My only thing is be self-aware. Again, I'll come back to the basics, that if college has to make, things happen, I think the trend has already started. You are on the forefront, especially the Anurag institutions. Right now, I've been seeing, for you to know, I've been there as a panel in 2008 and 11 also. Oh. 2 times I've been there for management. Oh. So I was in IT, then now I went into government and later into this now manufacturing. I've been seeing the trend. The only thing is, if you are feeling, I'll just give a witty question, right? Response to you. If you are feeling this discussion to be bored in natural Indian mentality, okay, we are gone. You might feel saying that, hey, we have heard, but how many of you are taking this serious, that trigger? Okay, in that context, I'll give you one spiritual, ground-rooted things. What is knowledge? Knowledge is very well defined in many of the areas. So, there is something very quick catcher. Janati, ichhati, yatati, karoti, iti jnanam. Okay? Janati is wanted to know. Ichhati, being interested. Yatati is trying. Karoti is doing. If you have doing this, there's a trigger that is coming across. There is something called Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakayaha Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay? If I switch off this light and somebody has a torch, that particular point ignites the minds of people here. And that shows a light, right? The darknet is cleared off with that particular light. In this discussion, if you are able to pick up one thing for yourself and go back and reflect upon, where am I losing? What am I doing? How can I be successful? Then come back and ask the university saying that I need your help. There comes your connecting point to the industry. there comes you are getting a brighter students to the companies, and we are ready to give the opportunities.
Wonderful.
So that's a few things that I wanted to reflect upon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So one generic question, as someone who's heading compliance, just your perspective on building a product is different from building a company.
Can you come again?
I want students to understand your perspective on the statement, building a product is very different from building a company.
Absolutely right. Company you can register now, it can be operatable tomorrow. But what are you going to do? Right? Building a product is not easy. By the time you start your journey and you try to articulate your problem statement, there is somebody else who is already taking the spot. You need to be faster, better, cheaper. You need to be conscious about where you are living and what segments are you doing it. I'll ask one question. Very recent news. How connected are you to the realistic world? How many of you know, I've imagined that electricity can be wireless, a transformer. Right now you are seeing the wired transformation of electricity, right? How many of you know in this room that there's a large scale production of electricity can happen wireless? See, in this room, we have few. As of yesterday, Japan has already proved from the space, you can store electricity and transform it to the ground, and now you can generate electricity at a large scale without wires. Imagine the kind of a space we are in. So compliance, it's like a product is not just a dream that you are trying to catch up and you are trying to say that, okay, academics, I am moving on. You need to be definitive, you need to be observative, you need to be informed about environment what you are in.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Sir, Raj, sir, the same, your perspective on the same statement.
Yeah. Compliance is a very important thing. See, I have been a technologist, but I wanted to learn more about business. Beyond what I learned being a technologist in a big corporation like IBM by working with the marketing and sales people. That was good experience, but that's not enough. So I started investing in some startups. And the way I did that, many people do probably, I have to read every document they produce. And I have to understand everything. If I don't know, I go back and if I'm reading a novel, if I don't understand a word, I put the novel by the side, look at the dictionary in olden days, understand the word and only continue. So you can see how fast I read the novel, right? But in these documents, I have to thoroughly read and understand everything. And any kind of presentations they provide and everything I need to understand. That way, slowly, step by step, I learned what a business does without me actually doing a business by myself, right? And by doing this for over half a dozen years, over quite a few startups, and I think I'm not afraid now to go to a startup and look at their document and make a decision whether I want to invest or not. But compliance is one question where I had a lot of trouble, because I think there's a point you are on. How is that important? How important is it? At what stage, right? First of all, I think if the university is not already doing it, at some point, it will be good to bring some persons who can talk about compliance, government compliance, and other kind of compliance that startups need in different areas. Okay. Just a seminar once in a while.
I think we already, but we'll do
you
it
probably
again.
do. I did not know, right? That will be very helpful. And startups, coming to startups do not get time to go through all the compliance requirements and to comply. So they postpone everything because they are stuck up with so many things. They have to build the product, they have to look at marketing, they have to look at sales and everything. They would say, oh, if we actually sell the product, then we worry about the compliance. And they go in front of investors. And investors are very concerned about this because they can, if you are in healthcare, it's much more important that you be compliant. Otherwise, your product will not be approved, right? And so take a look at some information about the complaints of the area you are in, what kind of complaints might be needed in the future to see if you are making your life more difficult than you should for the future, right? And first of all, as students, there's another side of me as a teacher. And I don't want you to worry about all these things. I want you to learn the main subjects very well, core subjects very well, right? And, but this is the kind of training that you're getting here about an idea, transforming that to a product, and even trying to see if it is marketable. It's a very good experience. I wish when I was younger, when I was in college, I had at least some understanding of what a business is. I did not know, right? And I thought you do research just to enjoy the research. And we did talk about the applications. Applications is something you build, somebody else takes care of them, how to sell them. I never thought that we had to bother about them. But it's very important that you are getting an exposure of all of that, even at this stage. So from idea, in the future, if you have not already been doing that, from idea, normally being engineering schools and all that, you tend to go for a product, prototype it, right? Good experience. But at idea level itself, ask about who the customer is, right? See if you can filter out the various ideas you get to see, can I find enough customers in the region I'm targeting, right? Local universities or Hyderabad or your state or India, whatever. And so see, if you build a product, you build a prototype and all that, then if you ask the question who the customer is, you may have to go through some disappointments. So I'm only trying to say, if you ask, the mentors can help you. The right path in which you should ask the questions in order to get to a product design, and then a prototype, and MVP comes later. MVP comes later when all these things fall in place, right? MVP means something that you can go out and talk to people, I did this, I need support, right? And by the time people assume you have an understanding of what your market is, who the customer is, that you will, even if you do not have any customer now, you can go out into the market and look for customers. And then, while that path is important, compliance is also in the same manner important. No, you don't want to be caught by somebody asking a compliance question. And then they say, oh, these people do not know anything about the compliance, they're building a product, right? So that would be my answer.
Thank you, sir. Your
Same.
perspective, same,
Yeah.
but like any points that we, sir.
Yeah. No, I have complete contradiction with Veera Garu, okay? What he spoke. Because he's a business builder, that's the reason product building is easy for him. I'm a product builder, so business building is difficult for me. The reason I tell you is, no, I'll give you a very simple example, right? Products are there, but building business is not so easy. Sir is definitely coming out as an AI expert, and I was speaking with sir. Sir is an OG in AI. So sir, tell me, sir, the mathematics which goes into cryptography and also AI maybe are popular from 1960s and 70s.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. So 1970s, the math was there, tech was there, everything was there.
Compute power is not there.
Not there, and the business model was not there. You're right. And let us take one more example, right? Quantum computing, all the prototypes are here, but why are we not able to get it? Because
No
the business around
use
it.
case scenario.
Perfect. So we did not find a business use case which can fund that quantum computing and get it out. We may find so exactly to your point, Anurag, like we are finding ways to make the technology cheaper so the business viability comes in and we kick in. It may be funding, or some person has to burn the cash like how OpenAI is doing now. So that is very important. So you need to build a business with a lot of aspects into it. And one important aspect is the business model, pricing strategies, which like the schools here don't teach for all good reasons because bandwidths are different. Like you said, for prototyping today, I've seen all the AI, some prototypes what I saw today was made on Versal app, right? Most of you use Versal. That used to take 3 or 4 months with 3 people to do it. Now with a single prompt, I'm building prototype. Now what was the question is, how are you converting into as a business? That they don't know. So like I said, business building is most difficult aspect, and prototyping is very easy. And your school here does that for business, right? You make sure prototyping has all the incentives around it. So yeah, so prototyping is easy, but business building is very difficult.
Thank you again. We have questions exactly for 2 questions, time for 2 questions. Anyone who has questions can raise a hand. We will just, you? Okay, sure.
In general.
Jen.
So there are overwhelming number of startups which are coming up right now, every minute, every second. So how can we differentiate ourselves in the market? In general.
Differentiation comes with, like I said, the customer, whom you find a customer as a niche, right? That is one differentiation. Because you can build a car, but whom are you building with? Are you building for kids? Are you building for college students? Are you building for old people, disabled people? That's where the differentiation comes. It's a moving product, right? It's a car. But how do you do it is the right thing. That's one. And second is, how you reach the market in a very different way. How did Tesla, electric cars were already there, right? Fisker was there, so many people. Why did Tesla become big? Because it gave electricity recharges for free in the beginning. That's the reason it moved on. So how do you build a go-to-market plan, if I can say in a management term? That's very important. And the first part is where you find niche.
So there are overwhelming number of AI startups which are coming on every simple problem which exists. So how can a person who's trying to enter into AI startup sector, how can they differentiate themselves? There is every problem which is being solved every second.
Yeah, see, technology is always, from a business perspective, I'm saying, technology is a tool, right? And even AI, so we are these days saying that I want to build an AI startup, or I want to use AI to build something. That is because AI seems to be an easier path to avoid more difficult work, laborious work, right? AI simplifies laborious work, right? And wherever it can, including coding, if it can. But the point is, these are all tools. AI, all technologies and everything are tools. And so if you identify the business problem, if you analyze the business problem enough, and if you modularize the problem into sub-problems, right? And in sub-problems, so some of these things can be done with AI better or easily. Some of them cannot be done, right? And then you use AI only where it should be used. But otherwise, you don't start with the technology to decide whether the problem is a good business problem or marketable problem.
So how can we build a sustainable one?
How to build, sorry, a sustainable?
Sustainable business or a startup. Every company is booming, is falling, is dying within few months without the consistency, or if the idea or the funding, there would be many issues, right? How can we create a sustainable startup? What would common mistakes which cause a startup to fail?
Right. So there is no, I understand the question, but there is no
One answer.
Short answer to that. And that is why startups fail, right? In the sense, I'm not talking about any of you folks here.
98%.
Because you should actually, this is a very good experience for all of you, right? No doubt. And because previously we used to do projects, coding projects only. And so the goal of the coding project is just to do the problem implementation. You implement the code, that is the project, right? Here you're thinking about the business problem and all, that's very good. But I'm saying in the out in the world, right? And it is you use AI wherever you can. In that sense, you can call it AI startup. That's not a problem. The goal is to AI wherever I can use and fill the other things in the demo, in the prototype, in the MVP, in the actual final product. That's the goal.
It's like answer.
But if you want to, if you are trying to find a short answer, how do I make sure that this will be successful? That's a difficult question.
Uncertainty is certain. Uncertainty is certain.
Uncertainty is certain. Right?
Thanks. One more question.
Hello sir, I'm Sriram and currently I'm into two domains that are, like you said, have a lot of uncertainty associated to them. I'm into space technology and also I have a game MVP that is currently built using machine learning. So when I have met with a few people who are willing to invest, most investors are comfortable in their domain, where people who are already investing in startups related to drones or some computer science products are willing to only invest in those kinds of domains. Whereas space technology, or when we are talking about game development, particularly in India, it's a very unexplored domain. How do I convince investors, or how do I say to them that this is a domain that is going to grow in the next coming years, and how do I get them out of their comfort zone?
I'll add, then I can pass it on to Dr. Raj. One thing is, this is unexplored area, space, other than for all the life what we have, India as a nation, a country after the independence, only entity we know is ISRO. Then, nothing has evolved. And recently, most recently, you have an entity, Skyroot, that has launched private. Anything that we touch here, you need to have, you are addressing something very innovative. You are providing a solution. Why do you have to go to space if I am able to fulfill something here? That is one of the key differentiator what you need to tell. And you have to dumb it down for investor that what is the benefit and how it is growing in future. Again, it depends on what is the problem you are trying to address. Very niche area, very niche segment. Like very recently, there are 3 starting entities in India, like Dhruva Space, you have Skyroot, and there is another company also.
Anand Technologies.
Sorry?
Anand Technologies.
Anand Technologies and all that. They have put all their satellites into one of the recently launched, machine by ISRO, and that rocket gone haywire. So all these, see, the risk is huge and you cannot measure the losses. So there comes, what can I make? For always, investor is making money quicker and getting out of it. Yeah. So be cautious about it, how you are able to associate, take guidance in it, talk to people across the world. This is a generic way, but technical, I'll pass it on to you, Dr. Raj and others.
Technically, I'm not from that area, but I have a couple of things. I watched some of the startups, Dhruva and others, as they were growing over the past few years. Right? See, many of them, the successful ones in the space area, they developed connections with ISRO. So that is the ideal thing. You start connections with the ISRO. And also another area is there are many defense contracting companies already, right, which have been doing business with the government, and go through them, because government listens to all of them. And recently, as of a few days ago, I went through a list of startups presented at T-Hub. Many of them are defense startups. Defense startups are being funded quite a bit of late. But you have to, many of them already got a lot of investment. They were being further selected for growth, that kind of thing I was talking about. And one question I want to ask you, you mentioned 2 startups. One is gaming, other is space. Yeah. Why are you doing 2 startups?
one is already an established startup that I'm being a part of now, and the other is still developing a product, sir.
Okay, okay.
The other is is still very development stage.
Right. See, there's some people who have a lot of bandwidth. They can do multiple things, but I'm not discouraging you from doing 2 startups. But for I'm speaking from myself. You can view that way. Doing one thing that you strongly believe in, following through whatever happens, is the way startup is done.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
There is a notion of serial startups. So some people say, I did that for a few years, I'm happy, I got the best out of this startup, I want to move on and do some other startup. Serial startup.
Yeah, sir.
That's
yes.
fine. But the question I'm asking is that doing a startup is something like this. This is what I want to do, nothing else. Right?
That is the
Could
kind
be gaming.
of...
Could be gaming. Because gaming startup that's already going on, that means grow it further. Right?
Yes, sir.
Growth, scale, and make sure that's one of the best gaming application, a game or gaming platform, whichever it is.
Applications.
Application. And so it means usually why serial entrepreneurs get recognition is by being successful in one company, they proved themselves, right? Yes. And depending upon how visible that is, and so people, investors, as well as other awards and various other kind of things, they get some attention, right?
Yes.
But develop contacts with the ISRO or ISRO subcontractors and things like that. Investors come to you if you get blessing from those people, because they ask them, right?
Yeah, sir.
Investors are not that knowledgeable in various areas they invest in. That's one thing people have to understand.
Yes.
Some of them are, right? Because they'll get a general idea. But their business is how to invest money, how to grow the money.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
So that's what
Thank you, sir. Any more questions? You can take it offline. Sorry, I'm really sorry. Most of the students are waiting for the buses. So we'll have to close. Again, thank you so much, sir, for taking, all of you, for taking time off your busy schedules. Thank you, students, for being very patient and being very enthusiastic. Anyone who wants to have few questions, please do wait, connect with them offline. And that's about one second. I'll let you take over.
I request the audience to please be seated. Buses will leave 10 minutes late. You have extra time. Please be seated. Thank you, sir, and thank you to our distinguished guests for those insightful perspectives. What we witnessed today was not merely a discussion. It was a blueprint for transforming campuses into innovation engines. We now proceed to the felicitation ceremony to honor our guests and appreciate them for enriching this session with their knowledge and experience. May I respectfully invite Mr. Anurag Sir, Associate Vice President of Strategy, Anurag University, Dr. Shanta Ma'am, Hive Advisor, Dr. Madan Mohan Sir, Associate Director of Innovations, Anurag University, and Dr. K.S. Chalapati Sir, Associate Dean, School of Engineering. First, may I invite Mr. Veera Chappai Garu to kindly come forward for the felicitation. Thank you, sir. Now I invite Mr. Abhinav Gupta Garu to kindly join for felicitation. Thank you, sir. May I now invite Dr. Rajendra Prasad, sir, to come onto the dais? Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Sanjay, sir, to come onto the dais. Thank you, sir. Now I invite Mr. Arvind, sir. Sorry, my bad. Mr. Anand, sir, to come onto the dais. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for our distinguished leaders. Thank you. The audience can leave.